All right. So I'd like to understand from you, from Field Marshal Muthoni Kirima's story. She talked about not being able to have a family in the fight for freedom. We'd like to understand, what are some of the sacrifices that you guys have made to be in the position that you are in now? And what are these sacrifices that you continue to make as women so that you can occupy the positions that you take?
Okay, thank you so much. We understand that women, in the past, they were viewed as weaker vessels. And finding a woman who is rising, even for us to rise in the position that we are in, it was not an easy thing. Especially, I want to give an example of my situation. In Mount Kenya University, it happened that I'm the first academic affairs secretary. No other lady has ever held that position before. And rising to that position, it was not that easy. You have to sacrifice your studies at time. You have to sacrifice relationship, because you find that in the field of politics, those men who want to support you, they look at you like, some of them look at you as a sexual object. Some of them also feel like when you are rising to position, you are being sponsored by these so-called men and everything.
Yes.
But they don't know. They know. But one thing I do say to myself, that when the cause is just, you will always fight for what you believe in. So it's called for fighting for what you believe in, and what you want, you go for it. But at the end of the day, you'll have to sacrifice a lot of things.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, let me understand from Claire, the boss lady. What sacrifices have you been making, or did you have to make to occupy the position that you have now?
Okay, to be in leadership, you have to make some sacrifices. And let me say, sometimes it calls for pulling down the fake friends you have. Let me call them fake. Because when you want to vie for something, that vigor alone for standing up needs encouragement from friends. It needs support.
You need a support system.
Yeah. So when you find other friends who don't maybe support you or don't encourage you, then you don't have any choice but to pull them down, because that's the only way you can make it right now. If you want to do something great, you have to make choices. And making the right choices, you have to move with the right people. And if it means maybe dropping some few friends, then you'll have to sacrifice them. And maybe also to break the monopoly of men leading in some positions. As she said, she's the SecGen, or this is a student, a women student body. But if it was a political, where men and women are also involved, then you'll find that the women have been left for treasurers and vice president. Yeah, and that's had been a norm. So to break that monopoly, then you have to maybe work extra hard, maybe for example to stand for presidency, to stand for SecGen in a man-women association. So it calls for that courage and maybe making the right choices. Yeah.
Do you believe that women, the issue that women are facing is that we are our own worst enemies? Because apparently the majority of voters in this country are female. However, we have very few female members of parliament representing us. And we'd like to understand, should this referendum happen, there's a proposed referendum that is going to reduce the number of people who are representing us in terms of, there's a lot of over-representation, too many MCAs, too many senators, too many, and it's costing us a lot of money to run the government. Should this over-representation go through and all those positions are removed, what is the fate for women come then?
I want to say that the fate for women is still safe, and we will fight for it. Because as a matter of fact, people say that women are enemies of themselves. I want to refute that and say that we are not enemies of ourselves, but we support one another. We stand with one another. In the past, there was no empowerment. But today, with this empowered generation, we are standing for one another. And we will fight for one another and see that we reach the objective that we are seeking, or the goal that we are looking for.
Okay.
Yes.
So for you, this is just a myth. We support each other.
Okay, to me, it's a myth because you say even for the success of WOSWA, WOSWA is purely female affair. There is no male in WOSWA. But we run our activities. We support our ladies. We encourage them. We empower them. And we are seeing even the results happening. It's happening right now. Women are rising to leadership position, even in our various universities. So to me, we support one another. Yes.
All right. I like that, Claire.
Yeah, and talking of the same, I have mentors who are women. Yeah, and coming to the position I am right now, it took some some women to support me. So it's just a myth, I can say that. And maybe we are just testimonies of support from women. Yeah, and about the stake of women in the referendum, so I know there have been claims that the women rep should be cracked up.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that. And I would love to say that if maybe we need to scrap up maybe the nominated MPs, senators, because the women reps we have, they have roles they've taken in the society. We have those who stand for the sanitary towels right now.
Yes.
I know Gladys Wanga, she stands for the sanitary towels in Omabi County. They stand for NGAF, the NGAF for the youth. Esther Passaris has been walking around talking to the youth about the NGAF. So I think they still have a major role to play. So it's not a role that we can just think can be scrapped off in one day. Yeah, and it's something that maybe it's a platform for the women who have that vacancy to be able to lead in other positions. Yeah, it is a stepping stone to other positions, governors, and maybe you'll be shocked next time, 2022, women will be running for governors, those who've been in women rep. Yeah. So it's a stepping stone to higher levels, and I don't think it will be scrapped up that easily. We'll fight for it. All right.
I see. So as the head of women students welfare, what are some of the challenges that you can see that women are facing that you guys stand for that makes your body very relevant? What are the female students facing that requires you guys to step in a couple of times?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, especially the university setup, our ladies face they go through a lot of challenges, ranging from reproductive health. Some are battling self-esteem issues. Some are also battling the sponsor syndrome that is happening right now, and it's really having a negative toll on our ladies. And also leadership wise, you find that to find a lady rising is not that easy. You have to go to the ground and tell them it is possible, you can do it, you can make it. For you to convince a lady even to vie for a delegate position, because now the election is not like the universal sovereignty, now we do it the electoral colleges. For even to convince that lady to go and vie for that delegate position, it's not that easy. And also we have the GBV, the gender-based violence, ladies who are being battered by their boyfriends, like, you have to do what I want you to do, this is the way to go. And especially this happen when they are first years, they are just new into campus, and then they want to experience life, and then you meet this guy who tells you, promise you heaven and earth, and then moves in with you, or you move in with the guy, and then out of this the relationship turns out to be abusive. So
what does the body do in a case like that? Okay, fine, you have discovered there you have one of your students being abused by the boyfriend, what do you guys do? Do you go and remove her from that house? What steps do you take? What is the approach?
Okay, WOSWA is a body where it provides platform for all cases. That's the structure for reporting. In case you have any problem, we handle them. We take to the administration, we follow them up, and we make sure that justice is served. And I would like to applaud the WOSWA leaders, because it's something good. It's willingness. Yeah, it's not something we are paid for. It's not political, and it's come from the heart. So when you serve from the heart, you serve better. You serve for the interest of the others. And what we've done, we've been able to organize many events. We try to connect those who are in the various fields, those who've made it in life, to come talk to the students.
Alumni power.
Yeah. And when they come to school, they're able to see that if the alumni have made it, why not me? Yeah. And also we've been able to, we also have teamwork. Yeah, we coordinate all our activities. For example, when she's in MKU, I know about her activities there. She'll tell me when they have events. I'll try to chip in where I can. And also at the university, we tell her, at UN, this is what we are doing. So it's something that we are working together, and that togetherness has been the key to many challenges. Yeah, because we believe if we raise we put our voices together, then we are going to be heard.
Okay, let me ask you, because the men also have a role to play when it comes to women empowerment, a very big role for that matter. And that's why I wanted us to see that clip of Wangari Maathai being celebrated by even Kina Jeff, by men, because men do impact somehow our empowerment. And I'd like to understand from you, the administrations in all these universities, how supportive are they of WOSWA? Do you get the support that you guys need to achieve your objectives?
I want to say that the support is so overwhelming.
Oh.
And we cannot even thank them enough. Anytime we want to do an event, the management is always there to support us. They are always there to walk the journey with us. They are always there to encourage us. And personally, I want to appreciate our Dean of Students, Mr. Emmanuel Owon.
That's really, for Mount Kenya University.
For Mount Kenya University. He has really been supportive of us. He has really held our hands, and he is there for us to see that everything runs smoothly. Whenever we come up with a proposal that we want to do an event, he's there to support us. Same to the Principal Students Welfare Association, Welfare, Mr. Waweru. He has also been there for us. And even our Vice Chancellor.
So you are getting overwhelming support.
Yes,
but that's for MKU. let me hear for the other universities. Let me understand from the lead hub. What reports have you been receiving from other? Because we want to be as objective as possible, so that in case there's some ladies at home are like, no, it's not like that over here. They can hear. Would like to understand. Are you getting the support that you need?
Let me give a recent example. I went to launch the Jaramogi Oginga chapter. We're launching a chapter in Juiced. They call it Juiced. And I approached the Dean of Students, and when I told them about the objectives, we took only 1 week to mobilize students. The staff gave us support, and in 1 week we were able to launch WOSWA. So that's just one typical example of how they're receptive of our ideas. And at UN, we have representatives from every campus. So when you want to do something, you report to maybe your principal, to your dean, the School of Business, for example, School of Veterinary Sciences. And it's not something that it has to go all the protocol up to the top. So at just campus level, we are able to reach to the dean of the school, and then you just organize an event. They just support you, what you want to do, because our ideas are always authentic.
All right.
Everything we want to do, make sure that it's something for the welfare of the students. So there's no other ways for refusing.
All right. There's something very interesting I came across when I was doing some research on this topic, and there was an issue of the mistakes that women make once they occupy the position of leadership. Okay, fine, now you are there. There are some mistakes that women make, and maybe we can just take a few minutes and maybe you can watch, and then we can see if you can agree, if you can corroborate if this, if you've even done this, if you're guilty of some of this. So anyway, let's have a look at that clip.
You'll see how to avoid making those mistakes yourself. Meet Angie. She set up her own cupcake business 18 months ago. Business has been good, and she now has a team of 3 staff: Tam, Christina and Roberto. Ready or not, Angie's in a leadership role. Mistake number 1, doing the team's work for them. Angie believes she should never ask her team to do things she's not willing to do herself. So she spends hours each week doing routine tasks with her team. Sure, this might seem like a good way to bond with her team. But while she's packing goods or checking stock, Angie is wasting company money. Tam is paid a good salary. Angela is paid twice what Tam is, so she should be putting her effort into tasks which reap twice the results. These are tasks like building strategy, managing productivity, and maintaining a positive workplace culture. Angie needs to be clear about which tasks she and only she can do. These are the tasks she should be doing. Everything else should be delegated to her team. Angie needs to do the work of a leader. Mistake number 2, imposing a vision. Angie's been to lots of management courses. Most of these have stressed the importance of vision in leadership. So Angie's created a team vision statement. This describes exactly what she wants the business to look like in 3 years. She's even written an action plan which describes how the team will reach that vision. But there's a problem. Tam, Christina and Roberto aren't showing any interest. And why should they? Firstly, the vision statement describes Angie's dream for the future, not theirs. Secondly, Tam processes information through his auditory channel, and Christina processes by feeling and doing. So talking about visions means nothing to her. So what can Angie do? She needs to make sense of the future. This means defining what the business will look like, sound like and feel like in 3 years. And if she really wants to fire up motivation levels in her team, Angie needs to get them involved in creating that future. Mistake number 3, using low status language. Angie is frustrated because people don't take her seriously when she talks about her business. That's because she uses low status language patterns. There are 2 specific habits she needs to avoid. First, she needs to avoid being caught up in troubles talk. For example, Angie has just met a potential client. They're talking about how hard it is to balance work and family as a female entrepreneur. Angie believes she's building rapport. But let's think about what she's not doing. She's not promoting her business. She's not promoting her own skills, and she might not even be making a good impression. Angie needs to nip this habit in the bud. She needs to sound like a leader. She needs to take ownership of her achievements using positive language. Now she sounds confident, assertive, and successful. The second language habit Angie needs to break is giving indirect instructions. For example, here's how Angie gives instructions to Roberto. Using a question format makes it sound like she's asking for his opinion, and this makes Angie sound indecisive and unconfident. Angie will seem more credible in a leadership role when she uses I statements. For example, she can say, "I'd like the packaging finished by 3 o'clock." Once she puts these 2 tips into action, Angie won't just look like a leader, she'll sound like a leader. Mistake number 4, avoiding conflict. Angie doesn't like conflict. This means she avoids tough situations like giving corrective feedback or tackling performance issues. But doing this for too long will undermine her team's motivation and morale. Angie needs to shift the way she thinks about conflict. After all, if teams were naturally productive and conflict-free, they wouldn't need leadership. Great leaders know how to handle problems constructively. Angie needs to handle conflict constructively. There are a range of techniques she can use to do this, including using concrete language to give feedback rather than generalising, being honest about how behaviours impact on you, being clear about how people can change their behaviours, and always ending on a positive note. Mistake number 5, staying out of the limelight. Like many women, Angie hesitates to promote.
All right. I hope you were informed by that particular video, because I wanted to ask about some of those mistakes and I'd like to understand if you're guilty of some of them. Do women, is the reason why we keep fighting these battles of being represented because we impose our vision on others?
I want to say to some extent it is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we tend to believe that what we say is what must work.
The gospel.
Yes. So if I have this vision,
Mm-hmm.
and you are not moving the same direction or you are not on the same page with me,
Mm-hmm.
then we fall out.
I see.
You are not for me, you are against me.
Because women are very famous for conflict and imposition. You as the chairlady, have you ever been accused by anybody in the team for imposing your vision on them?
Yeah, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, and we can't lie, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something we live with.
Mm-hmm.
But the best way maybe we try to find ways to maneuver through it using the leadership skills. These things happen. We can't say women are perfect or men are perfect. We have our flaws and we always work hard to correct them.
I see. So there's one particular point that struck me, which was low sounding conversations. Like you, instead of when you go for a power meeting, which I've seen most of our leaders are guilty of, most of our female leaders, and you go to a power meeting, you start saying, you know, it's so hard for me to balance work and family, and they think that people are perceiving them as strong women. Wow, you can do it all. But in real sense, they're creating a bad image for themselves. So let me understand from you, as a leader, and the things you had to sacrifice and all that. Do you ever talk about it when you're networking? And do you believe, have you ever had other female leaders talk like this and think they're looking powerful, I guess?
Yeah. Okay, I believe when you're selling yourself out, you have to do it the best way. You have your problems at home, problems at school, problems everywhere. But you want to sell yourself, you want to network, you want to capture his or her attention.
Yes.
Then you have to do your best by selling the best points. So for me, if I was to network with someone to get the attention, I would show the person that I'm strong. Yeah, you have to be confident. You have to give reasons. Give him reasons to believe you.
Not complaining that it's hard.
Okay, you can complain, but not when you're networking or maybe promoting your image. Some things you have to do to promote your image. For example, the way you speak. Speak confidently. However, maybe you didn't even take breakfast, but you don't have to show the world that you didn't take breakfast. Yeah. So maybe you just have to prove to the people that you're strong out there. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you, because women are very famous for not being very good at dealing with conflict. Then hence why mistakes we make is avoiding conflict. I'd like to understand, when you guys disagree, when you're sitting in a board and you're coming up with your objectives and what have you for WOSWA for that year, maybe for that quarter of the year, and you disagree, how do you go about resolving that conflict?
Okay, first I want to comment on what she was saying.
Yeah.
I want to say that everyone has their own problems. They have their own baggages that they carry around. So when you step out of the door, leave your baggage at home. Go. It is your responsibility to serve, not to complain. And on that issue, when we come to the round table and disagree, they say that we disagree to agree.
We can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree, something like that. So when we come to the table and your point is not making sense to me. Okay, to me, most of the time, I've learned to go low. Like, for example, at times it gets too intense.
Yes.
Almost going physical. What do? You don't rise up. You have to lie low so that the time all of you will be at the same pace. Then you will agree. Because I believe that there's nothing that can be brought to the table and you fail to not agree totally. A solution must be found at the end of the day. If you want to fight, fight. If you want to insult, just do it. But one thing you have to know, at the end of the day, we must find a solution to what is happening. Yes.
Oh, and a big shout out to our viewer. There's a viewer from a university. Can you give me that university one more time? Friends something university. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. But we have received your comment. Thank you very much. Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah, about the same. You've noticed, let me give a recent example for the MCAs at Nairobi County Assembly.
The criminal.
Yeah. They were live on TV, and what that woman was really doing.
Vis-a-vis what she was saying.
Yeah, I'm really wondering if she knew she was live. Yeah, and then later on when she's being questioned, I just think when she went back home, she must have, hey, what did they do? Yeah, it's something that happens. Yeah, as leaders especially, you'll meet all types of people.
Yeah.
All types of luggages, they want to bring them to you. Yeah, and when you don't find maybe one value, one thing that you can hold on to maybe handle those issues, you'll find yourself removing wigs live, and that's we see them in MCAs.
So we need some self-control.
Yeah, we need some self. Yeah, you just need to to calm down. Yeah, at the end of the day, you'll go back at home. You'll watch yourselves at the TV. What will you think? What will your children think?
That is
and
true.
what will other women think? They'll think you are letting them down.
That is true.
Yeah, so we need to,
like the way you have even said, "Sasa who you are to chomia."
Yeah, and it's so funny the way she was refusing those claims, and she was live. So sad.
In short,
kulikuwa na evidence.
In short, we just need to own up our mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, let's be responsible for everything that we are doing. Because that thing that you are doing, ask yourself, who is watching me? Am I acting as a role model to someone? That today someone will be watching me and saying that I'll really like to be like so and so. So let us just be responsible of our actions.
So the thing is not to avoid the conflict. It's just being responsible with how you're handling it, because conflict is inevitable anyway. So let me understand. You guys will not be in campus for long. I'm sure you're almost out and you'll have to leave this to someone else. Going forward, are we going to see any of you on any ballot or looking for any political spaces out there? And which spaces would this be? Let me start with Claire. What would you be like if you were to go out? Are you even intending to go out and be a leader out there, or it ends in campus?
This is a question that I've always tried to avoid so on several occasions, not on this show alone. But one thing I like to say, and I do say this to myself every day, being a leader does not mean that you must hold a political office. You can be a leader. Everyone is a leader. In fact, everyone is a leader. But the position or what you do with your leadership is what that differs and what matters a lot. Being in a leadership position, to me, or going for a political seat, maybe, it's not a decision that I've made right now. Because one, I feel there's still a lot that I need to do in the leadership journey. Being mentored, mentoring others.
Basically, you have a long way to go in terms of growth before you can occupy something that's it. I like that you're taking it seriously. Okay. Let me hear from Wendy.
For me, I've always had a soft spot for the girl child. And that's why I started the She Rise initiative. It champions for the education for the girls in school. So beyond, after 4th year, I'll be leaving WOSWA, but my heart will still be in WOSWA. But I'll still be there for them. If they need me to come back, I'll always be back.
Okay.
I'll always champion for the right thing outside there. And whatever championing for them will lead me to, I'll be always ready.
Let me ask, somebody here is in charge of academic affairs. Can I ask you, is there anything in particular about the education system that there are some gaps, as we wind up, there are some gaps that need to be handled with our education system that is kind of to what can I say, to empower women more? Like, is there any adjustments that we need to do to our education system based on your experience as you wind up?
Okay, thank you so much. The gaps that we have in our education system, if we look at the education system right now, one thing I want to say that I'm proud of our education system. This kind of the system that we have, it's a great system. And even to our girls, this is a system that accommodates all of us. The only problem that we have that I see is being handled and tackled, especially that affects our young women or our ladies, is lowering of the grades for them. Okay, it's not bad to lower that.
Lowering their grades, as
like,
you mean like
cutoff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cutoff. You know, it's like we cannot, when you want to join university, you find that the number that how we do this, how we do that. Especially in the sciences. So
we need to change that. It's either we've earned it fair and square, not at
because at the end of the day, we are fighting for equality.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a very, very serious adjustment. I'd like to agree with you. Thank you so much for shedding light on that. Now, but that is your parting shot, by the let me hear. I'm sorry. Let me hear from Wendy. Wendy, let me ask you: is there anything more that the government can do to support ladies like you that are rising up their ranks and She Rise in your initiatives? Is there anything more they can do?
The best, I know there are many challenges, especially when you have a startup, and the what I would urge the government to maybe take serious the initiatives that people have come up with, because I'm very sure if someone comes up with an initiative, they have an objective, and the goal they want to achieve is always aimed at the society, helping the society. So if it is a good deal, why not the government just put up structures, policies that are able to make it easier? For example, registration. Right now, if you want to register a foundation, it's a hell way of a process. You need to get a lawyer, you need to do this, and it takes time. And money. Yeah, and money. So for young women who have many ideas and want to do something, they normally have to think a lot. Sometimes you give up, sometimes you have to rethink again of what you want to do, yet you have the main idea, which is the right one.
So they should make it more affordable for us to and reduce the procedures of registering
maybe reduce the procedures, make it easier, and also support the ideas.
Thank you so much for coming to studio today. I've really enjoyed having this conversation with you ladies. Thank you so much, Clare Ongati and Wendy Aura, WOSWA people, WOSWA, Women Students Welfare Association of Kenya. Goodness, long title. But I hope you have learned something if you're watching us at home, especially for the ladies out there. We are the future, and the youth peer are the future of this country. So thank you so much for all of those who have been tweeting. We're at Y254 channel. The hashtag is Y in the morning. And on Facebook, we're at Y254. And on Instagram at Y254_channel. So you can slide into our DM, and you can even let us know, are WOSWA leaders telling us the truth here? Are they representing you in the manner that they should? Thank you so much for watching. Man Crush Monday is coming up next. I am Hilda Wadibi, and you have been watching Youth and Politics.